Yes, hello, good evening, good morning. What a time of day it is. Well, it's Shirrie here with another another story to tell you here. Well, I will tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing right now. When I was young, I did some very stupid stuff. Oh, I ever did some stupid stuff. It really got me in trouble, too, in a way. Well, I stayed, one time on stayed in a homeless shelter in London. This gentleman by name of X, Mr. X, and not say real name, I still remember this the very day, turned around. He pounded the shit out of me, and next thing I know, I was lying in the hospital, woke up on a concussion that this guy caused. What I did is I took him, I sued him, I took him to court. Believe it or not, I took the other homeless guy into the courtroom and I made him think what he did wrong. And apparently, the trial went on all friggin' day. It started in the morning. I remember no happened next, dragged and on and on all day. Judge Bennett was the judge in the courtroom at the time. Not Bennett, but it was Judge A.L. Sennison. Well, he's a real strict judge. And, well, the judge wasn't too pleased with what he did. I tell you that he wonders. I know he didn't know how, and at the case dragged on, it recessed for lunch, came back, and it dragged on some more in a way. And finally, what happened finally? You want to know what happened there finally is? Eventually, it went on for a while, and everybody gave testimony. People were sorry on my side. They said things at the time, everything else. And people from missing services have wondered, there was a lot up about me. I got so many people testified that. And the judge looked at, and finally, at the end, near 5 o'clock in the afternoon, about 5 o'clock, a judge just turned around and I get a call 5 minute. I can recess for about 5 minutes while I go to my chambers and see what a suitable sentence for him. And the judge came back in again and said to you, well, I looked at your record. You did some time. You did this to somebody else that are homeless on the street. Well, you beat the crap and stole all his money. You did this to him, to Sarah. You stole that money from, you know what? For that, the court can award you back the money you stole from this Ontario worker. On top of that, you're gonna get for that you will receive. All right, you done it somebody else, and I gave you 6 months on the same sentence, and you dirty old rotten piece of shit. I mean, you were pissed, and now, cause you got sick, I'm gonna give you 65 years penitentiary affected immediately, starting as soon as bang the gavel. You sentenced 65 years in federal penitentiary for robbing the poor. And this judge to bang the gavel hard on Ben and said to Bella, get that piece of trash out. There's a trash bag on my courtroom. Get a rocket two-legged trash bag on my courtroom. I don't want to see him ever here again. Well, he ended up going away to jail. But what I have heard within the last 2 weeks, quoting, and I got an odd letter the other day. It was sent out of the Dorchester, somebody in Dorchester Penal Institute who wrote me. I know he told me he was that person roommate in the cell, and apparently, what happened was he was running a racketeering ring, and what happened to him? The guys all ganged up on a pen, and they literally sanked him. He bled out and he was dead. They killed him basically. Oh well, yeah. Well, I know, but Ozzy did told me he made my spirit angel Ozzy Osbourne told me that too. My guardian angel Ozzy told me the exact same thing. Matter of fact, you're processed on a crazy train to hell. Well, no, all you did, flew him on, put on a crazy train to hell, on put him right on a crazy train with the first couple of beats of dun 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 boom boom boom. Yeah, yep. He's on. Well, yeah. Go serve and wait. You got to pay for the afterlife. You face the one here on earth, not the courtroom. Well, when you die, you face another one. That other judge, you can't. I do what he said. You go to hell. You go to hell. If the judge said come into heaven, you do. You can't come into heaven unless you get judged first. And two people stand and two people work side by side up there. They're Jesus Christ, God, and there's another, and right on the other side of him, there is God on the other side of him, and then there's Ozzy, who is the judge's assistant. Well, Ozzy will sit there and he record everything going on in the courtroom in heaven. And he was determined, and God determined, okay, you did something wrong in life, so you must go. And Ozzy will be ordered to take him into custody at that point. Ozzy taken into custody, taken to a crazy train, off to go to hell, basically. But then the other people coming in will die waiting to be processed. They come through and do the same thing. Ones that are good go straight to heaven. Ones that are bad, what happened, then they go to hell. Anyway, so you know what I'm talking about. Well, he's my guardian angel, and he's been looking after me. And oh my God, that guy really knows his music well, Ozzy Osbourne. He told me so much about the music business when he did it when he live. Huh. Sometimes he wished he wasn't. Sometimes he wished he could come back and finish it. But a real important job of right now, him looking after me, making sure I don't get in trouble, making sure I walk the path and be sin free. If I have a smooth transition, want my time to go to heaven, I will have a smooth transition into it too. And not being worried about, going where I don't need to go to. Not worrying I don't need to go to. I'm going right straight through, sail right into heaven. That's what I look at as. Well, I'm not looking forward to that day, but anyways, not the day I look forward to, but we all have that day in our life. Like John, John there, my husband had his day on Monday. He had that day Monday. He went into heaven. He went through to heaven. And I know my friend, my guardian angel, actually helped him when he got there, got him settled too. And and the judgment was passed in good decision. He went right straight into heaven with the judgment that he was not guilty in the judgment area. Well, anyways, so he went straight to heaven, and he got his living in some nice area in heaven now. Actually, they gave him the big manor house to live in. Well, anyway, so someday, when I see here, God assigned him a very important job when he came back through. He would judge to come into heaven, which he did, but he was given an extra boost because it's helping other people. He was allowed in, but he allowed to become an angel at that point. Because why? Because he did so much to help people. When he wasn't performing on stage, he helped people. He had so many people gratified by his helping and that. Even now, he said after death, he's still helping people. Now he's an angel. He helped more people after death than he did before he died. See, yeah, I do it too. I'll help people if I need help. Sometimes I don't get intervened too much at a place where at the women's store where I volunteer at with ladies there, because some of them are just very outrageous. They come up with odd things. They don't talk about things that not really there. Homeless on the street, can't, and they're dirty a lot of times, and you could smell them a mile away. You know what I mean by that? And they're just dirty ladies, and a lot of them need help. The one today I know was seeing was hallucinating. I mean, really, truly hallucinating, telling people there's somebody, nobody there to talk to them, and not even there. Like, if, and I know I looked at her, I thought she did something not right. And even I see my guardian angel said, this lady is cuckoo. Huh. He need to, and I think, ask him to put her, and Ozzy told me, don't worry, I will look after her. I'll make something appear that, into the, I make a form to appear right on in the police office to pick her up. Ha ha. Wow. Guess what? They came, they'll pick her up all right. They put her in the mental hospital. And I don't think she will end up there for a very long time, probably, or shorter than that. Most times, a couple weeks and out. Well, tonight, a bit of excitement tonight. Wow. There was somebody out in the hallway here took a very bad heart attack. Literally heard him crump on the floor outside the hall. But that's out. I see him on a gasping for air and just gasping and gasping and gasping and couldn't get air. And he was, when I called 911, I started doing set compression, everything on this guy. I literally did it, and did call mine, and all she's standing there telling me to push, telling me breathe mouth, and doing it quickly and fastly. They find the ENT so, and they actually they got the paddles on them. And then I looked over at the cardiogram, so the card was showing tachycardia. So they took the paddle on 400 watts second, and they went boom. You said, he just pumped up pretty hard on the floor, enough that vibrated every door in the building. Then his heart went back into sinus ribbon. By that time, the ambulance, when the heart was still, then it flatlined again. Then it went into a flat line, and then they had to hit him again with the paddle. Boom! And guess what? Then they heard it kick right out and kicked into sinus ribbon, the sinus ribbon again. And by that time, they had him on Bagum. They got on a stretcher, and they rushed into the ambulance. That time, Ozzy Osbourne went to really process. He told me he got the gate, but God said to him, God and Jesus, it's not your time yet. You have to come back, which he did. Anyway, well, he told me, and some spirit angels did that. Well, yep, not everybody's time. But I rushed the ambulance, light and sound go all the way also. Well, that said to me one thing. Life it can be beautiful, but this person was crap right in the hall in the funny elevator of my building. And everybody didn't know what to do, and including, but some people did, but a few people. The one guy in here was retired. One person, and if I might live retired, retired emergency, retired paramedic that in Canada for many years. He moved up to Canada, retired from Los Angeles Fire Department, moved up to Hamilton after that, retired paramedic, and he got in. He assisted me, and Ozzy telling me what to do, and I was doing what Ozzy told me to do. And I managed. We all got him. When the paramedic bagged him, got with paddle. Paramedic, this retired guy. Wow, I hadn't done this since I retired, he said. And he was assisting a Hamilton paramedic with the paddle, getting ready, and they're getting up there. He knew his stuff. This guy is 77 years old and retired EMT out of the U.S., but knew everything to do. I mean, him got it going like it wasn't. And my guardian angel assisted me through the way. He would tell God what I have to do, and God would tell me how to do this, and I was following what God would tell me. I did it. Oh man, I can't believe I just saved somebody from dying. But unfortunately, we all have to face this someday. It's not easy to think about. We do gotta face it. And when we do, nobody knows. Well, that one thing. Well, I'm going to tell you another bad thing I did when I was young and stupid, of course. Long time ago, I was living in an apartment. I get my mail, did this big, huge thing, envelope, sent outside the world somewhere. Sent from Thailand. I opened this up, and I entered a contest recently. And in the contest, they said, congratulations, you won $50,000 Canadian. Here's this check. Take it in the bank, deposit this. Once you get deposit, you spend it however. So I took this check, went to my bank, put it in the bank, and then I went off, paid my bills, and did some other things. Got all caught up with date and everything ahead of time. Then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I get a knock at my door by London police saying to me, Siri, yeah, what? I know it's what? Okay, what is it, officers? What did I do? You're under arrest for under arrest for fraud. What do you mean? They sold a copy of a check I took to the bank and deposited in my bank account. They froze it. Then they turned around and cut me off downtown, processed me, and then I had to get a lawyer. They did. The lawyer was there. And then all of a sudden I get to the court. The company that sent me the check, well, they didn't send the check, but apparently the check was sent from nowhere. The check was sent out of Bangkok, Thailand, by a scammer, and with that company's stock name put on it. And that company came out of a company's account, and they thought it was, and they said that. And I said, this came from this address in, Your Honor, I said, this came from this address in Bangkok, Thailand. I gave address. Well, then I looked it up, and it turned out it was a very run-down apartment block. And I said, I believe this company used your company's name in bad faith in a way, and that not what, and I assured that, well, company looked at that and said, well, this check is fraudulent. We didn't write it. I kept saying, look, I kept telling the company, well, yeah, the company. Then my phone rings again, and it was the same people who were my old Nokia phone at the time, a brick mobile rang. I answered, and I said, "This, tell you what, this person is calling me now," and he says, I'm probably saying that. Well, I look at the number. I answered the phone number. The person telling me, congratulations on the check, blah, blah. And I said, nope, here we go. And the guy picks it up. CEO, he get the check. He, the big boss from the company, real company, said, we never wrote that check. Did you do that? And he said, no, well, we did it. They sort of, and I said, no. And I had to put it on speaker, and I started talking. And guess what? They heard everything. As soon as they heard what the guy said on the phone in the bad English, a Nick guy, know what CEO did? He looked at her face and said, sick. We had this problem with big checks being written. Our company and we've been busting these people for fraud. We got 20 people in jail. Well, this happened after I spent like a week in the algorithm attention on this. Turned out that when the fraudulent person called, he ended up, said to me, and this apparently what happened was, my God, the judge looked in. I know it did. After that, well, this apparently they contacted they contacted the global investigation Interpol. Interpol found the person in Thailand. Well, they got busted. Yep, that's a good story. Yep, busted over there, and their charged with uttering fraudulent document, making people here take the fall for his, fraudulent gain he's doing. He got busted. He went to jail for a long time, Interpol. Turned out I was cleared of fraud. And I cleared of this fraud. And then every time after that, they said, I get my disability check. They keep faking the fraud. I keep going to jail. I forget my check. And it's gone on, same detectives in London Police Force again and again. There was one in Cocoon, Texas Cocoon. He kept finding ways of now me on fraud. I always gonna happen right before the snow. I never ever enjoyed a free winter in my life. I never enjoyed a free winter, and it's gone. It kept happening, and I kept going to jail. Kept trying to get out of this, and it was like seemed to be worse off every time. You looking at one time, I figured this out. You know that, and one day a guy got out of jail. I said, "You know what? This is it. I gotta light him up like a Christmas tree. This guy is playing with my life. I gotta light him up like a Christmas tree. You know what? If I'm not in London, this way, he can't. I think if I'm not there, so if somebody said I committed this fraud again in London, well, how could I commit fraud if I'm not in London and have to go someplace where nobody knows me?" And that took a while. First I went to Toronto. I stayed the rest and this time quickly got to Toronto. What I did, I got my check, quickly got in the bank, quickly withdrew the money, and quickly went to Toronto immediately before anything else on that. Left everything behind in London. Went to Toronto. When I got to Toronto, got down to it, and I was checked into Reston Harbour Castle in Toronto, of course. Second night, and I was sitting for 2 or 3 days trying to figure this out in my mind. Well, having Castle, okay, well, here's what I gotta do. I'm gonna leave Toronto. Where's what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave Toronto, Ontario, and I'm gonna go to Hamilton. I'm gonna start in Hamilton where I can get. I might be able to do something and settle my feet in Hamilton somewhere. So I left Toronto and came into Hamilton, got here to Hamilton, Ontario, and I think, okay, maybe I go mission service in Hamilton, on corner of James and Barton, Eddie. So I'm all the way down to James and Barton Street, not knowing the city, found my way there. Didn't have maps at the time, so I had to figure out where to go and what way to go. I made it there. I got there and I made it. And once when I made it all the way there, and I found the man's missing at times, I tried to transition into a mail yet. So I went there, walked into a session area, and I did a pink slip, got admitted and everything else. And then I sat down, then that next day I had money on me, so I going around, now I have close to $700, $800 on me, and I was going around. I'm gonna look at an apartment, So there was apartments rent on first one, 15 St. Matthew's Ave. So I went there, looked at it, but I had a bad feeling about the whole house. Something didn't feel right about it, like a heavy feeling, like it haunted, something like that. And I didn't take it for some reason. Whether rent was good, I didn't take it. And so the next place I looked at was right kitty corner to Hamilton General Hospital. There's a bar in the first floor called Red Sheep Bar and Grill. They own the whole building. Apartments rent upstairs. So I went upstairs and I went to the apartment. And after I went there, what did I do? I sort of went in there and went up there, looked at the unit. They wanted rent $250 a month. That's not bad for rent, $250. Yeah. So it was $400, 400 for the. It was about 700. So I paid the 700 in at the time within that, and started paying $250 a month. I tried to get my hydro bills there. My hydro bill were well over $1,000. And I was running my lights. Everything else. Matter of fact, I'm getting so expensive. I literally had to just keep my refrigerator, so I couldn't even running a fridge. But it would cost me money. That didn't help. I had an air conditioner. I had set the air conditioning off my apartment because to save money on hydro. That kept not turning the lights on. Didn't even turn the TV on. I got. It didn't turn on the old tubes that I had in there. So it was that. It was just that. I can figure out why my electric bills were high. And then I went down to Hamilton Hydroelectric down on John Street. I walked in and said my hydro bill had been ferociously high, and I don't know why. And I'm wondering if you could come out and find out why my bill high. I think somebody else is stealing hydro from me. And actually, then I went down to the basement building and go walk into where the hydro meters were. I see the restaurant meter, the bar's meter going around really slow, hardly reading anything. While my meter going woo 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 woo, hydro meter go really slow, going around fast, and you go. And I look at this, and then I hear the big compressor kick on. I heard a big compressor roof kick on. That meter starts spinning. Once I seen this, guess what? This guy was running his reason cooler for the draft beer in the bar off my hydro meter, and I'm paying it to fucking hydro. And he's running rooftop beer off my electric, and I'm paying for that too. Holy cracking! Near I seen that. I went to electric utilities, reported hydro theft. They came out, they verified what I seen. They said, "That's no, they did." Well, they pulled the meter out. Oh yeah, they pulled the hydrometer out. Once the hydrometer was pulled out, whoa, you want to know what happened? Well, here's what happened. Well, the meter was ranked, and then guess what happened was, apparently that the hydrometer that was running the coolers weren't even running the lights in the restaurant. I was running my meter for restaurant around cooler. They were just running the electric lights inside the restaurant, not even a couple of fridges that were lower voltage. No. And I looked at this and the hydro guy looked at it and said, whoa. Well, they apparently, they come up at me, they pounded on my door like this, pounded harder than that. You, and the lady, and the manager, owner of Reggie Bongo, you effing bitch, you got my fucking hydro off. You this and that. Sounded like just like a Karen on. I know what? and I heard a couple of footsteps coming up the stairs. Turn around, there two big, heavy-duty cops slapped the cuffs on him, dragged him down the stairs, feet pounding on the stairs, threw him in the back of the paddy wagon, slammed the door. I came up to me, and this guy is stealing. This guy got caught stealing hydro, and the hydro company just it had a warrant on arrest him. Also, we shutting the bar down permanently. Well, guess what? The guy had a bar shut down. He lost his liquor license. He went to jail. You know, not only that, but he didn't get a step pass. He did not ever. Apparently, after that, by that point, I had enough. I moved out of the place because the owner is in jail, and I decided at that point, I couldn't pay the rent. Number two is I'd be squatting in there if I didn't move out, so I moved out immediately. I moved out shortly after that incident. I moved out. Then I rented, then finally I found a nice house on Rutherford Ave for rent. So what I do, well, I talked to the owners. I signed the lease agreement there, and I moved in, rented this house, all that. Got my first hydro bill, and it's only $89. Boom, I paid it. I got my first phone bill, $89 too. My phone bill, $15 at the time with the rotary phone, no internet. Got my cable bill of $20. No, coming in. At the time, and I didn't have gas bill was only around $104 in the winter month when the boiler's going and the gas water heater's running. Boiler going. Otherwise, hot water steam boiler basement running would bring my gas. It went my gas for a bit, but it wasn't that bad. I was lived there quite some time, over 10 years. The landlord came up to me, the old guy said, well, I'm going to put this property on the market for sale, and it would be nice if, and I said, it's going to take me a few months to move out here, but if you can hold on that sale for a few months there, I'll find a place. Well, at that point, I just put an application to city housing, and I was on the wait list. I get a phone call from them on about within 2 weeks, we've been on a wait list for almost a year now. Finally, 2 weeks ago, I get a phone call. It goes, okay, sir, we got apartment you look at 95 Hess. Went to 95 Hess. I met up with, I think Andy, the caretaker at the time, Andy Pandy. We went and looked at apartment 707 there, I remember. It was a great unit, all that. It run bed battler. And I went over to the housing office and signed the lease and paid the $139 rent right there, and that's that. Wow. So after that, moving there were some bad tenants. There were all bad tenants in that building. A couple of bad ones, good ones. And there were some good tenants. And finally, I've been in there for a while. Sooner I moved in, all of a sudden, I heard fire trucks now pulling up 3 o'clock in the morning. And I looked outside. I could see smoke outside. And I thought it was, the fast go for a second there. It was 4:30 in the morning. Fire truck, alarm going in the building. No fire alarm. I couldn't believe it. So I had to got dressed. I figured I better evacuate the building anyways. So, and the alarm going. And the fire department there. And what happened was, I made it outside. I got out there. I made it outside the building. When I got outside the building there, as soon as I got outside the building, when I did go outside, I walk out and I was waiting out by the fire truck. Everybody, the whole building out by then. I'm out, everybody's out. And what happened? While they put the fire out, apparently the firefighters found a deceased victim, Sonia Cadet, at the time. I remember that case very well. Okay, so what happened? So I went in and so then then after that, the detective Sergeant Arnold came by and said to me, asked me questions about it, and asked my lady friend Carol questions as well. And we both us were trying to re up. And I started to say, and finally I found out. Then when I come in next day after fire, I come back from being Salvation Army. There's one guy who's living in 107 comes up to me and said, "If you rap about this, you can get we're gonna do the same thing we did to Sonic Cadet." And he threatened me not to rat him out. Well, well, I did. I sort of took, and I told Rick Arnold about it, Detective Rick about it, and Rick said, "Wow, good, that's a threat." Well, right then they found out. And I started doing investigation. It was leading. They were having dead ends, and I was figuring out myself. Somebody had to come from somewhere to do this. Then I found out the guy was Malcolm, last name Crest, Montreal. Actually, he went along to a street gang in Montreal called I think a blood decrypts in Montreal. What he did, he had his apartment torched. He ordered the apartment torched by another gang in Hamilton. Well, apparently he came down, made love with her, and then torched the unit and killed her and torched the unit. And with actually using gasoline or oil. But the only one problem that one thing he didn't know about that what 95 has that had asbestos walls between a unit and the asbestos in between unit stopped fire. Well, both of which it did. Well, its fire were contained to one unit and it didn't spread. It didn't burn the whole building down, but all it did is killed one person. Sonia killed one terrified female tenant at the time. And then when the case came to court, he went, well, the judge gave him life imprisonment, no eligibility for parole. Well, the man in 107 got life in prison, no eligibility for parole. Well, that went on for a while. And then that done there, and then it went on from there to then everything going along smoothly here in Hamilton. Then I moved 95 Hass. Somebody had something go wrong. It started by a faulty extension had a panel box in its apartment having a short circuit in it. Panel box with a big electrical short circuit. And he said, what he said? He said something else. Kept telling that. Kept saying to a property manager at the time, Sarah Ford, the property manager, well, look, there's a problem with the electrical. Kept doing it. Well, and he kept saying it, nothing. Kept putting off the repair, kept putting off this repair. And this outlet was sorting in the wall, heating up in the wall constantly from the bad electrical short circuit. Well, apparently, middle of the night, well, the whole wall caught fire in his apartment. And what happened to him? He ended up, evacuating, phone 911, evacuated apartment, and alarm went off, of course. Why did that? Then everybody evacuated the whole damn apartment building, all evacuated all, and then we outside in the cold, shivering cold, and I'm outside, I'm sitting there in my coat, shivering cold out there. At 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was sitting there freezing cold. I ended up, the firefighter had a canteen truck set up over there. I walked over to a canteen truck. I said, can I get a warm cup of coffee, a bottle of water, please? And the guy says to me, well, I'm not really allowed to do it. I give firefighter, not to civilian. But here. And he walked over, got a cup, poured in a paper cup, and handed me a bottle. I'm not allowed, don't tell anybody. And I drank the coffee outside and had the bottle of water. I would just dry throat from the right air. Lo and behold, what happened next is this. You know what happened next? Things started to go bad. Well, after that, everything was fixed, done, boom. And then the building was done. Then after that, they had a case of very dirty black mold in the building. It went on for quite a few years. I mean, I think it was, and no happened. Then that when another property manager came in, and it was the Karen of the Karens, I call her. Rank out Karen of Karens. This is a mean property manager. She kept yelling at me every little damn thing. This not to go. This and this. This not this not that. No. She's like the worst HOA Karens I ever seen in my life. I can tell you that. She would always find ways. She was threatening to evict me if I didn't do this. If I didn't, keep my wall to base. I didn't do this, didn't do that, didn't do that. And what happened was then I had Raymond ran through on that wall, he turned around, he beat the crap out of me in apartment. Had the London police, Hamilton cops came, and they came in, and they told him, they did him. They took him into court, and he ran away. They supposed to get him. He couldn't. They didn't came out looking for him. I told him, but he's not even there. And guess what? He was shooting us. I was after Crown. I got him yet. And Crown said, no such luck. Oh, what did I do? I decided I'm gonna go. One day you probably went to London somewhere. Maybe I decided to do something. I had to watch Dog the Bounty Hunter and how he would observe on the criminal before making an arrest. Well, I decided I'm going to do some bounty hunting. I decided to do little bounty hunting. Well, I went to a place where we would hang out in London. Like I went to a place where we hang out, and it was an upstairs gathering. I went to this, upstairs gathering there, and I walked in. I went up there, and you know what? I see Larry. I see one friend had Larry sitting there. So I seen Larry sitting there, and I said to Larry, well, I hadn't transitioned there. I said, Larry, wow, what is going on here? I just in the middle of mid-transition, and you know what? Apparently, Larry said in a way, and he said, oh, me and Ray going over pizza after this or down off the street. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, fine. And I'm sitting there, Ray, I was thinking I had to got one of the staff to lead me through to back to another area, to lead me down to an access down. I got down below, and I told what went on, and I left there, got out the door safely, went across the street to the London Police Department, and told him, gave him Ray Van Turo spotted that down at Pizza, just down the street here. He got a big warrant outstanding arrest. Go get him. Well, apparently, while the London police went there, they got him in handcuffs. And then I went back to a cop shop, and a cop asked me, how do you know that? Because he did this to me in Hamilton. And he had the warrant outstanding in Hamilton, but also he'd been got 10 charges of trespassing. I just had actually have take home so we gone trespassing at the at my sister's place in London too. So they charged him with trespassing, entering a women's shelter when not supposed to, apparently. And Larry got in charge of against him while harboring a fugitive on justice. Well, basically, so this is a lot happened there. Well, you know what else happened after that? Well, things started really. And after that, he went off to jail, and about a few months later, I appeared in court in Hamilton, and the judge said, I said to the JP at the time, I said, look, well, I don't want to around Willow Place, around any place where the kids. I learned had done the sex offender when he had done it to ladies, and I don't want around any ladies that are would be vulnerable, afraid to him. I gotta protect the kids. And you know what? Crown looked at me, yeah. Crown brought this up to the judge, and know what the judge did? Well, apparently, the judge did what it called granted a special order, gave him this. He had to report to a jail for weekends, and he has to, after reporting to the jail, he must do this and this and this, and he must undergo a review for pedophilia on every day. Have to go, and he have to go and see, and have to be monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or be and also he sent it to have his Johnny cut off. Well, he said he sent him for. I said, no, what? No, I said to Crown, I know Beth spoke is sent for him. He's never gonna learn. Well, he can do it. You have to sit down and squat like the woman has a life, but worth it. Guess what he just did? It's hot to be same judge, Bennett. Case Bennett said, off with his penis now. Take this, lock him up, because you're going to have one 10 cents. From there, you're going to be taken into a operating. They will be taken to a hospital under heavy guard. You'll have you really amputated, and after you finish, after the operation done with your penis amputated, then you're going to be sitting. Then you got the recovery done. And then you get transported back to the detention center again. Then you will be released, and you have to look at and you have to squat. While he got released, and today, mine, he had to sit just like a woman on the toilet and cry. And you know what? It reminds him something. It told him one thing. You can't know what he learned. He learned one thing of this. Never that, he lost his virginity. Anyway, so, well, look good on him. So you think somebody does that with a penis, raping female, they don't deserve to have it. They deserve to have it chopped off and live that role. And it's punishment. He got the punishment. He got just reserves out of that too. Well, anyway, that case went on. Then after that, I come back home. I'm going to find the building that have black mold in it and everything else. And that building had black mold. So I had to turn around. And then we were told that we were told that a Good Shepherd had to move the other clients out. So Bill emptying out at that point because of mold. Then I got told 3 buildings I could select from that time. And they were 181 Jackson, 95 S, and 95 Sanford, and 155 Park, and the other one out, and one out there, the other apartment. This one here, 555 Queenston Road. Next, so I selected that one, this one here. I selected the other one over there at another building on Stanford Ave, but that's the other one out there on up on, exactly one up on out there off of Dundurn, up in Dundurn Street. So I was in for both, but you know what? And finally, at the end of the day, I get a letter of housing. Said accommodation will be provided for you, 555 Creekton Road, and we need to know if you want to set up and all that. So, and they had a date to me come and look at this unit. I come over here, look the unit in now, and I took it basically because I do want to be on the street. So I took it immediately. And then they got a hold of a moving truck, me and a maidman, two heavy guys. They moved all my stuff in here. Then after that, I've been here, and after I lived here for quite some time, and almost it's been like this was back in, back in 2029. I went to Montreal, have a bottom surgery, and all that, and I came back and to here, and then I've been living here and for almost 12 years now. And you know what? I'm 65. I've been here so long that you know what? I can't believe I'm 65. I don't feel that way. And that went on for quite some time, and it's just like on and on and on. And I believe that it's time to say, and I'm getting tired of talking here, and well, Monday will be a show on CFNU. And I'm going to say thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this episode series Outers here. And we will see you on the next one. Remember, about Peacemaker Community Church on Sunday. We'll be there. I'll see you at Peacemaker. But also, I got something for you to advertise here. Camp Cockwall Women's Retreat. That comes up on, in May, just before the long weekend. May it comes up. If you come, go to this. You'll love it. And I'm gonna give you all information on here. 7:30 on a Friday. Registration. Welcome session. 9:30. Ringo Mutts. And Mutts Games Campfire. Yeah. Yes, see? That's all that Friday night. If the weather's good. Well, you get a nice chalet if you go there, a motel room, both are nice. Saturday morning, breakfast, session 1. You're going to listen about a boring long serve God, coffee break, small group reflections. After that, lunch. And then from 1 to free time and occupational crafts. Supper, session 2. It's another service. Movie night or campfire, one or the other. Guess what happens on Sunday, the day you leave? You get up at breakfast at 8, 10:30, session 3, that's the service, and lunch. And then after that, free time to pack and go home. You pack a car at home. You know what? Very beautiful up at Camp Cockwall. And I think you all would enjoy it up there. Remember, if you're female, looking for something, it'll cost you around about approximately under $300, but it will worth the trip. Remember, the women treaty. And remember, you can do it through BIC Churches of Canada. You go to the website and listen, or you can go to Camp Cockwall website and register. And you can take major credit cards are accepted, of course. And many other things. So remember, if you want it, that's one thing. Remember, please don't drink and drive. Take a taxi, public transit, or go transit when acceptable, and be safe. Don't end up. Be safe. Don't drive drunk.